Hey everyone, I'm Nova J. I'm making a build video for my Magicka Sorc in PvP for my guild's ESO build challenge. First, I'll start off with what gear I'm running. So, I've tried a couple of things before. I've had 2 Molakina, the 5 Julianos, 3 Willpower, and 2 Swords of Torgs packed. That was really good, good overload build. Right now, I'm running 5 Julianos, so I got my chest, gloves, pants, and 2 swords. I like this because it gives me some spell critical, the extra magicka, and then the 5th item bonus, almost 300 extra spell damage. And on my back bar, I'm running 5 Clever Alchemist. So you pop a potion, you get an extra almost 700 spell damage for 15 seconds. Now this is kind of hard to time. It takes a little practice. If you do it right, you can get 2 proxy deaths off with the 15 seconds. I can show you how that works a little bit later. I'm also running 3 willpower jewelry, all arcane. 2 of them have spell damage and 1 Magicka recovery. Traits, I think I have 5 divines and 2 impen. Attribute points, I have 10 in health, just to have the little extra bonus there. 54 in magic, none in stam. And you can see my max magicka, 35, max health, 26, max stamina, 14. And that's with purple tri-food. I'm also a vampire. I keep it at stage 4 to get the stealth movement speed bonus. I haven't had too much of an issue with fire damage. I know a couple people who have been having issues with that, but I find at points like when you're in the middle of a battle and there's fire ballistas all over you, the extra damage that you take from that, it doesn't really, I mean, yeah, it's 25% more, but if you're gonna die, you're probably gonna die anyway, whether or not you're taking 25% more damage or not. But the passives for vampire I find pretty good. Where are they? Increase your stamina and magicka recovery by 10%. So you saw on my character screen, I'm at 1597 unbuffed. So sometimes in the midst of a fight, it'll go up to, I think, 17 I've seen sometimes. 17 to 18. It gives you a reduced damage when you get below 50% health. And then the movement speed. This makes it really easy to get places pretty fast. Okay, so on my damage bar, I have Proxy Detonation, Mage's Wrath, which is under this Storm Calling skill line. I'm using Mage's Wrath instead of Endless Fury because I'm not too worried about getting the magicka recovery back on target kills. That's more of a PvE skill, and I'm pretty good at managing magicka, so I'm using the one that gives more damage on explosions. Crystal Fragments under Dark Magic skill line, obviously. Most people are using this morph, and the passive here, no, it's not passive, it's the skill. So when you cast other magic attacks, it has 35% chance to proc, and it usually procs for me about every other spell I cast. So I'll be casting Mage's Wrath and Velocious Curse pretty frequently, and it'll usually give a good Crystal Frag proc. Then I'm also using Shattering Prison. I've thought about Restraining Prison, but I do some PvE, so I've picked the one that does damage instead of stuns. And then my ultimate for this bar is Devouring Swarm. That's from the Vampire skill line ultimate. Sometimes you can swap this out, like if you don't want to do Vampire, you can put Meteor here, or Overload if you want to run an Overload build. Replace some of these. You could put Daedric Tomb here, which is under Daedric Summoning. No, it's not. It's under Dark Magic. Daedric Tomb. So that's good. You can throw these into, the midst of a group at a range of 30 meters and it'll just explode on them. It's also good if you're trying to keep someone away from you to cast right at your feet, and then they'll have to go through them to get to you. My second bar, I have Empowered Ward. I was using Hardened Ward before, and then they made the shields a lot shorter. So Empowered Ward, it lasts for 10 seconds, and it grants you and people around you 10% Magicka recovery for those 10 seconds. Running Boundless Storm, it gives the extra resistance, movement speed for a couple seconds after you cast it, and it does damage to people. I have had some kills with this, even though it's only like 700 damage. I've been using Flame Reach, Destro Staff ability. It can knock people off, keep walls and hills. Other things that you could put here would be Pulsar from the Destruction Staff line. You could put Elemental Blockade. I was playing around with that last night. Crushing Shock. Could also put Elusive Mist here. I was playing around with that a little bit, but I find having some other kind of damage ability on my back bar more profitable. Power Surge. This gives you extra spell damage. You can swap this out for other things depending on if you have any Dragon Knights in your group who are running igneous weapons, because that gives the extra spell damage buff, and you can't overlap this skill with that one. So if someone's running it, you could swap this out for something else, like Elusive Mist or maybe another Destro Staff ability. Crushing Shock would be good to interrupt people. Depending on what kind of staff you're using, you get a knockback, a stun, or an immobilize if you want to use Reach. Then I have Streak. This is good for streaking into groups, and it stuns everyone. It's also kind of good to get away, but you have to be careful how soon you're casting it, because within 4 seconds it costs double, or not double, 50% more. And for my ultimate, I'm running Negate. This is really good. Sometimes it casts and it casts on top of you, so when you move around, it moves with you. I haven't really figured out how this works. Sometimes it is ground placed and it stays where you cast it. Still playing around with that. So for champion points, have 32 in the Magician, reduce Magicka cost of spells, and I also get this bonus, so you can bash someone and it might reduce their movement speed. I have 47 into health recovery and 78 into Arcanist. I have 10 into tumbling. New Apprentice, I have 48 into Elemental Expert, 35 into Elfborn, and 36 into Spell Erosion. I've been recently playing around with this. When I originally assigned champion points, I hadn't really paid a lot of attention to where I was putting things, so I recently put a lot into Spell Pen. Nothing in the Atronach, and 47 into Thaumaturge for damage over time effects. So this would be Velocity's Curse, I believe, and some of the Destro staff abilities that I'm using. All the orange trees I kind of just threw points into, so I have 8 into Ironclad, 3 into Spell Shield. Since I use Empowered Ward, that increases like critical resistance. You can't crit through shields. And then reduce damage you take from critical hits, 20 into that, just in case you know, I'm caught without my shield. I'll hopefully take less damage. I have 10 into Light Armor Focus, 31 into Hardy, and 34 into Elemental Defender. And 15 in Bastion, and 46 in Quick Recovery. Forgot a couple things about my armor. So I'm running 5 light, and 1 heavy, and 1 medium. And the way I have this set up right now, so you can, what I was doing before is, when I originally was using 2 Molag Kina and 5 Julianos, 3 willpower, and then 2 Torag's packs for my swords, the shoulders that I got were heavy, and the helm that I got was medium, just based on drops, so I had to make my armor light. And then I switched my 5 pieces of armor out for Vicious Death, which was all light armor. So I still had the 1 medium and 1 heavy. And that gives you a passive in the Undaunted skill line. So Undaunted Command and Undaunted Metal. So you increase your max health, stamina, and magicka by 2% for each equipment you have equipped. So I have a 6% bonus on my health, magicka, and stamina. Some people might agree that having 5 light and 2 heavy is better because of the bonuses you get with that. But I'm liking the Undaunted passive for armor. So we'll show you how this works. So if I buff with Power Surge, swap bars, spell damage is 34. Now, if I go back to my bar with Clever Alchemist on it, my back bar, drink a potion, go to my damage bar, spell damage is 42, almost 4,300. I have gotten this up to about 4,500, 4,600 mid-battle in group settings. I haven't really gone into looking at why just standing here, it's a little less than actually in battle. And then you can see my Magicka recovery has gone up as well. My boon, I'm running the Atronach, which is increased Magicka recovery. And then the purple tri-food, I'm running longfin, pastry, and melon sauce. You can run really any purple tri-food. I think they all give about the same stats. So that's my PvP Magicka Sorc build. It does work very well in PvE too. A couple of things I switch up for that is I will put overload on both bars, and I'll use flame pulsar. And that's really the only thing I switch up to run PvE things. So this is a screenshot that I took in the middle of fighting, and you can see here that spell damage, it goes up to about 4,500. So the way that you can get 2 proxy deaths off with one 15-second Clever Alchemist, what you would do is you cast proxy death, and then you want to get to your other bar in about 3 seconds. You pop a potion, switch back, it explodes, and you cast it again. So you can see on that timer part, it's below the Clever Alchemist. So it goes off first before your Clever Alchemist expires. And that is, it takes a lot of practice. Sometimes I'll still even mess up, like I'll be mid-fighting and I'll cast it on the second time, and I'll click it again so that it ends up going after the Clever Alchemist expires. Sometimes I'll drink the potion, I'll be on the wrong bar. So getting a lot of practice with this to optimize it will be good. So for the ESO build challenge, I am challenging Insidious and Eswin. You two have 2 weeks to make a build video or deposit 20,000 gold into the guild bank.